What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the PT Coffee Cast, brought to you by The Movement. My name is Dalton, and unfortunately, my beautifully bearded friend William is not with us today, but I am going to come at you with a solo episode. Hopefully it won't be too long, but I just wanted to share a thought with you guys that I've been having throughout the course of this week. But before I do that, thank you so much for tuning in. If you aren't subscribed to the podcast, make sure you subscribe on your podcast platform. If you aren't subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure you head over there, subscribe. We're trying to get 500 followers there. And we're putting out all of our video episodes there along with some other videos around physio related content that you can check out. So make sure you subscribe to that. And lastly, if you want some more info on our mentorship, head over to themovementmentorship.com. We actually just dropped a free video seminar that we did with the McMaster Physio students. If you guys are interested in that, you can check that out in the show notes of this episode. Give it a watch. Let us know what you think. But let's dive into my thought for today. So I've been running a ton lately because I'm training for a marathon. So when it comes to running, it gives me a lot of time to think. And one thing that I've been reflecting a lot on from this seminar that we did with the McMaster Physio students was something that I really wish I knew earlier on in my physio career coming out of school. And this is around the idea of the prognosis not mattering as much as we think, and the timeline of that prognosis not mattering as much as we think. So I do think, I'm not saying it never matters. There's circumstances where it does. I think the one circumstance that stands out to me is if someone has a timeline of when they need to get back to sport, or they need to race in or do some type of event that has a time pressure on it. I also do think there are certain injuries, such as an ACL repair or an Achilles repair, where prognosis and timelines are very important in terms of getting people to the appropriate stages. But outside of that, a lot of the injuries that we're dealing with, like tendon related injuries or some low back pain or shoulder pain, things that are less focused on a specific, diagnosis or progression that's needed. I don't think the timelines in the prognosis for us giving this client the idea of how long it's going to take is that big of a deal. I think what I've learned is the most important thing is making sure that you show the client a clear path from where they are right now and where they want to get to, and how you're going to help them make that journey to that point. A lot of times I find when clients get frustrated or get so focused on the timeline is when those expectations or those conversations of where they are and where they need to get are not laid out in a clear way. So even when someone comes into me and is very, very focused on like, how long is this going to take? When am I going to be better? I'm sure we've all had those clients where that's the big focus. If I take the time to understand where they're coming from, maybe figure out why they're so focused on that, and then really break it down for them, in the end, they're okay with me not giving them a specific time frame on when they're going to be back from this injury. Now, it doesn't mean I don't show them any picture of when that's going to be done, but I'm very hesitant to be like, yes, in 6 weeks, this is when you are going to be back to playing hockey. But if you show them the process and what you're going to do, and I think oftentimes having benchmarks throughout the stages of their journey to highlight where they are in that progress is super important. And so we've talked about this many times, but we break our plans with people down into 3 stages: the calm it down phase, the build it up phase, and the bridge the gap phase. And why I like doing that and showing that to clients is that we can have milestones that we set for them specifically based off their injury at each specific time through that process. So they're going to move from the calm it down to the build it up phase when they accomplish X. And then when we get to the build it up phase, once we're at this point and we're able to accomplish this, we're going to move into the bridge the gap phase. And then once we get to the bridge the gap phase, when you're able to check off all 3 of these things, you're ready to get back into performing fully without any need for rehab. And if we're laying out those milestones, it gives someone, the client, something to look forward to or something to reach, and it gives them an anchor in their brain that they're moving to the next phase. I think when people get the most frustrated about timelines or progressions of getting back to their goals is when they feel very lost in where they are. So you have a conversation with them on the first day, you tell them about what you're going to do to get them to their goal, but then in between that conversation and getting to their end goal, there's no clear steps in progress that they're making the moves towards that end goal. And that's where clients get lost, and that's where they get frustrated, and that's where they may fall off. But I find if you're laying those steps out and then you're constantly referring back to that plan and those milestones and where they are, people don't feel lost, they feel taken care of, and they can really directly see where their progressions are happening and how it's moving them towards their goal. And when you're doing that, they don't so much worry about the fact that like, oh, this is taking 8 weeks versus 7 weeks, or this is taking 8 weeks versus 10 weeks. They're just focused on, oh, I'm getting better. I see the steps towards me getting to my goal. I see how we're doing that, and it's constantly being reminded to me. I'm okay with the fact that this is taking a little bit longer, or that this is happening a little bit quicker, right? And I think that's something I wish I would have known early on, because I think I instead would just give kind of random prognoses or timelines, just hoping that that would be what they would want to hear sometimes. Or sometimes I wouldn't really know how to navigate that. And then what ends up happening sometimes is if the expectation isn't set well, and that person, gets to that 8-week mark and they're not really there because the process isn't linear, they would become frustrated, and sometimes it would lead to like bad outcomes, or they would fall off, or they wouldn't come back, and all that kind of stuff. So I just want to share that with you guys. I was thinking about it a lot this week. It's something that we talk about a lot here at the movement with our team. We talk about it on the mentorship, and it's just one of those things that I think are really key to improving the outcomes with your clients, improving the experiences with your clients, improving your ability to communicate to clients. And this is something that just takes practice. The more practice that you have, the better that you're going to get at it. And I think it really just starts with having some type of framework for how you deliver care. So we like our 3-step process, but maybe yours is a little bit different. But making sure you know what that is and how to communicate those processes to your clients based off of what their goals are, their injury, and their circumstance. But that's all I got for today, guys. I don't want to take too much of your time. Thanks so much for tuning in. My beautifully bearded friend William will be back for the next episode. If you guys aren't subscribed to the podcast, make sure you head over to your podcast platforms and subscribe so you don't miss out on new episodes. Make sure you head over to the YouTube channel so you can see our beautiful faces. Subscribe to the YouTube channel so we can reach 500 subscribers by the end of this year. It's a big goal of ours. And then lastly, if you want to learn more about the mentorship, head over to themovementmentorship.com. You can find all things mentorship there. If you want to set up a call with me to talk about getting into the mentorship, we can do that. You can fill out an application to be in our next cohort, all that fun stuff. So check out that website as well. That's all I got for today, guys. As always, stay caffeinated. Peace.